The EFL awards aren't far away with this season drawing to a close. There's 3 spectacular managers up for the Manager of the Year award, 3 phenomenal players too, and those young players who have shone through this year are also up for the award. But who are the nominations? To start off with the managers, we have John Mousinho of Portsmouth, we have Steve Evans of Stevenage, and Darren Ferguson of Peterborough. The Player of the Year nominations are Nathaniel Mendez-Laing of Derby County, Harrison Burrows of Peterborough United, and Marlon of Portsmouth. The Young Player of the Year award, one which I believe is a bit contentious, is the 3 players of Ronnie Edwards, Karamako Dembele, and Charlie Hughes of Wigan, Peterborough, and Blackpool, but on loan from, I think it's Brest in France. So these are the nominations for these awards. Shall we get a look into each of the contenders? Starting off then with the managers, we have John Mousinho of Portsmouth. Now, obviously, he came in last January, in January of 2023, and since then he has done an excellent job. This season, they've lost only 4 games in the league campaign, and I believe they've only drew a few as well, and they find themselves currently sitting, I believe it's 5 points clear of Derby County in second place, with Bolton not that far behind Derby. Now, I think John Mousinho has done an excellent job in his first managerial role. I believe he's only lost 4 games in his previous 56 in charge, and that is something which you cannot take away. If you watch Portsmouth, they are an incredible side so far. They have a lot of consistency, and as you can see by his win percentage since joining, it is 56%, averaging 2 points per game, and that is promotion winning form. They're just 1 win away from the Championship. If they win at Bolton this weekend, that will confirm their promotion. And to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if they ran away with the title. I think John Mousinho has done an excellent job, brought in some really good players for that team, like Owen Moxon in January, Abu Kamara on loan from Norwich. He's also got the best out of players like Colby Bishop. And it's really impressive to see what John Mousinho has done in his first managerial role. Shall we now take a look at the next manager? If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all the latest League One and EFL content. We might move into the Championship next season, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you do know who you think deserves these awards, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Who do you think the Manager of the Year is going to be? Player of the Year, Young Player? Let me know. Is there any mentions which you think should have been mentioned in this list? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll let you now get back to the video. The next manager on the list is Darren Ferguson of Peterborough. In his 4th spell at Peterborough, and he's just won the EFL trophy with a 2-1 win over Wycombe Wanderers. Since returning to the club, he has a 59% win rate with a 1.9 points per game average. Now, I'm a bit confused about this nomination, I'm not going to lie. I'll get into it more in the end. But Darren Ferguson, he has done a good job with Peterborough. They're currently sitting 4th place with a few games in hand. They could close into like a point of Derby, I believe, if they win both games. And Derby obviously drop points elsewhere. But I understand why he's been nominated. Do I think it's the right decision? Maybe not. Hopefully Peterborough fans can shed some light down in the comments. Obviously, they have a lot of attacking talent up front and also some good talent in defence as well. Obviously, they've got the likes of Mason Clark, they've got Poku, Ricky J. Jones. They've got some really good players in that Peterborough side, and they've planned themselves currently in P4. Finally, and this is probably one of the better nominations on this list, it is Steve Evans, the 61-year-old Scotsman. He's been at Stevenage since March 2022 now, got them promoted from League 2 and has them in the fight for the playoff places in League 1. Obviously, he has a 49% win rate since joining Stevenage with a 1.7 points per game average. Now, this season, I believe they're currently sitting in about 9th place, just a few points behind the likes of Lincoln City and Oxford United. But they've had a really good season as one of the newly promoted sides, and I completely understand why this decision has been made. So, for me, after discussing all of these 3 managers, for me, I'm a bit unsure as to why Darren Ferguson is in this list. Don't get me wrong, I think Peterborough have had an excellent season, but ultimately, I do think they have underperformed. They went through a spell, I think they lost 4 or 5 on the bounce, or they went through a really sticky period of form and couldn't quite get themselves going. Now, obviously, they have found themselves back in 4th place, but that sticky patch of form, which they felt earlier in the season, has really sort of cemented them to more of like a playoff position than automatics. But we'll have to see how the final few games go. If they end up finishing in 2nd place, then Darren Ferguson has to be up for this award. But for me, I don't think that Paul Warne necessarily should be in the award, but I think he should have been nominated. I think he's gone through turbulent times at Derby, and he very, very nearly lost the backing of supporters around October time. Derby weren't in the best place, but we now find ourselves second with it in our hands to get automatically promoted. Not far behind Portsmouth as well, who have been excellent throughout the entire campaign. And I think that speaks volumes to how Derby County have performed this season. Although Paul Warne's isn't in the list, I just thought is an honourable mention and should have been noted. I do think John Mousinho has a brilliant chance to win this award. With it being his first managerial role, and he's only about 18 months into the job now, I think he's done an excellent job with Portsmouth. I think he's got them in a really good position to win the title this year and gain promotion back to the Championship for the first time in God knows how long. He's done a really good job there. He's got the players playing out of their skin. But can he finish the job? That is the big question. Now, Steve Evans, I think he's had the hardest task of the lot of nominations. He's got a Stevenage side which are punching above their weight currently in League One, and they've done a really good job this season. However, I do feel that if they fall short of the playoffs, I do think that he shouldn't get this award. Don't get me wrong, I think he's done an excellent job. But you have teams like Leyton Orient who are also in that playoff fight, obviously not being as consistent as Stevenage, hence why they're a little bit further back. But by the end of the season, Leyton Orient could be above Stevenage. So for me, I don't think Steve Evans deserves this award unless they get themselves into the playoffs. For me, I think it's John Mousinho's award to lose, essentially. If they end up dropping out of the automatic promotion places, losing the title, I think he probably wouldn't get it. But I don't think Darren Ferguson deserves it. But for me, I think John Mousinho will win this award. Shall we now get into the players? So we're going to start off with holding midfielder, central midfielder Marlon Pack from Portsmouth. At 33 years of age, he's had an excellent season. He started 34 out of 35 matches, playing 3,028 minutes, collecting 11 goal contributions in League One this season. He's averaging a rating of 7.62 over this entire season, and he's picked up 7 yellow cards over this period. I think he's been an excellent player for Portsmouth this season. If you just look at that graph on the right hand side, you can see where he compares to other midfielders in the league. 66% on shot attempts, 76% on goals, 38% on defensive actions, 96% on aerial duels, 86% on chances created, and 97% on touches. He's a brilliant player. We saw it as Derby County fans just a few weeks ago when we played them in a 2-2 draw at Fratton Park. He was instrumental in them getting that result, of moving the ball about, keeping hold of possession. And if you put someone else in that position, would they do such a good job? Maybe not. Now, Marlon Pack was a player who Derby were interested in coming off the administration season, but he found himself at Pompey, and he's done an excellent job since joining there. I think is a very, very capable nominee for this award. Next upon the list is left-back Harrison Burrows from Peterborough United. He's come through the academy at Peterborough and now finds himself captain of the team. He's a 22-year-old Englishman, and for me, I think he's well deserving of this award. Do I think he'll get it? I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, defenders and midfielders sometimes don't get the love over attackers, but if you just look down at his attacking numbers, he's got 17 goal contributions in 40 matches. He's played 3,486 minutes, averaging a 7.61 rating, collecting just 5 yellow cards. As you can see on the right-hand side, you can see the graph relating him to other players in his position. He's in the top 99% for chances created, top 100% for touches, 95% for shot attempts, 91% for goals, 46% for aerial duels, and 38% for defensive actions. For me, he's a very, very worthy candidate of this award. I do think he will be in line for it. Obviously, he has been nominated. Do I think he's going to win it? I'm not 100% sure. Finally, I've got my Derby County cap on. I am a Derby County fan. I think Mendez-Laing is in pole position for this award, especially if Derby end up getting promoted. This has been one of Mendez-Laing's better seasons in his career. I think he's got his best goal output. He's broke the record, I think, now for most assists in a season at Derby County. And as you can see, 8 goals, 15 assists in 41 starts. He's played all over for Derby County this season. He's played in number 10. He's played on the left. He's played on the right. He's played as a sole number 9. He's done it all for Derby County this season. The 31-year-old Guatemalan international has been absolutely incredible. If we just scroll down and take a look at his numbers, 8 goals, 15 assists. That's 23 contributions in all competitions, and there's still 4 games to go. He started 41 of 42 matches. He's played 3,362 minutes, collecting an average rating of 7.47. He's collected 6 yellow cards in that time, but that doesn't turn away from his ability. He's been absolutely incredible this season, and as you can see on the right-hand side, his player traits and stats compared to other forwards: 97% for touches, 99% for chances created. Aerial duels is something which he isn't exactly there to do, but 69% on defensive actions is brilliant. 13% for goals and 30% for total shot attempts. I think he's had an excellent season in League One this year. He's really captivated what Derby County needed, and he got them out of some really, really sticky situations. So, talking about these 3 nominations, who do I think is going to win it? Personally, I think it's going to be between Nathaniel Mendez-Laing and Marlon. And that's no offence to Harrison Burrows, but if Derby County and Portsmouth both get the automatic promotion places, I think it's got to go to one of them. Marlon, I believe, is captain at Portsmouth and has done an excellent job in guiding them towards promotion. Even with injuries and everything that Portsmouth have gone through this season, with losing some key players to injury, he has still stood firm and made his presence known on that pitch as a captain. He's like a coach on the pitch, according to John Mousinho. So I think he is probably on the first or second of the list for this nomination. Now, obviously, I think the next player is going to be Nathaniel Mendez-Laing. He really struggled to hit the ground running, probably due to a summer of football with Guatemala. Came into pre-season after playing for Guatemala away and just couldn't quite find his feet. Looked a bit shattered to start off with. But then we had a poor performance away. I believe it was at Stevenage, and he really turned the screw after that day. And ever since then, he has probably been our best player by a million miles. Obviously, you can't count out the likes of Curtis Nelson and Aaron Cashin, who have been excellent for Derby too. And for me, I'm surprised that Curtis Nelson was not nominated for this award. So for me, the 2 players in pole position for this award is going to be Marlon and Nathaniel Mendez-Laing. Obviously, Harrison Burrows has been excellent this season, but do I think he's going to get this award? I personally don't. Let's now take a look into the Young Player of the Season nominations. There's a player who I want to caveat in this because I'm very disappointed that they haven't been added to this list. So first off, we have 21-year-old Ronnie Edwards of Peterborough United. Brilliant player. He's been at Peterborough since August of 2020 after starting his career at Barnet. He's played pretty much every game this season for Peterborough in the league. Yeah, he has played every game. 40 starts, 40 matches, 3,581 minutes played, averaging a 7.1 average rating, collecting only 2 yellow cards in that time, which is brilliant for a centre-back. He scored 1 goal and got 1 assist in this time too, and he currently has a market value of 3.5 million. Now, we all know the interest in Ronnie Edwards. He has been immense for Peterborough, and it wouldn't surprise me if in the summer, if they do not go up, if he then moves on to a new team, maybe somewhere like Newcastle or Brighton potentially. Maybe even someone like Leicester City who are getting promoted, but we'll have to wait and see for that. For me, I do think he's a valid candidate for this award at just 21 years of age. I think he's had an excellent season. I think he's done really well for Peterborough, but there's a centre-back who I do think should be on this list, and that is Aaron Cashin. He's had an absolutely excellent season for Derby County and bailed them out at some mega moments. Now, I'm not saying that Cashin is better than Ronnie Edwards. Cashin is a few years older. I think Cashin's 22, maybe 23. But Cashin has been excellent this season in a partnership with Curtis Nelson, occasionally Sonny Bradley as well, in a back 3. And I think that Cashin not being on this list is a problem. I do, personally. I think he's been one of the best defenders in the league. I believe Cashin is in like the top 5 of average ratings for League One this season, and the fact that he's not in this list is a bit of a joke. So I did just mention Cashin, so I thought I'd pull him up on the screen. You just have to look at the difference in the stats compared to other centre-backs on the right-hand side and look at where he ranks in between his own group. Obviously, you then look at his performances as well. 39 starts in 40 games, 4 goal contributions, 3,514 minutes played with a 7.55 average rating. Yes, he has collected 7 yellow cards, but at the end of the day, he's not been sent off. I don't actually think he's ever encountered a suspension. He might have just hit the threshold when there was 5. But I think Cashin should have been on this list. You can let me know your thoughts about it down in the comments. Some people are probably going to think I'm biased, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's get on to the next player. Karamako Dembele, on loan at Blackpool, and he has had a wonderful season. Personally, he probably could have been in line for the main player of the season award, but at just 21 years old, he finds himself in an excellent position. He's played in centre mid and attacking midfield, and he's played out wide on occasion for Blackpool at times this season. He started 25 of 35 matches, collecting 17 goal contributions in 2,288 minutes with a 7.20 average rating. You can see on the right-hand side where he compares it to other midfielders. I do think he's had an excellent season, and it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up taking home this award. I do think it's between 2 players for this one, and I think Karamako Dembele has had an absolutely excellent season. I think Blackpool fans will probably agree that he's been one of the figureheads to Blackpool's attack. With his skillful ability, like, he's just one of those players that when they played Derby earlier this season at Pride Park, it was only a few weeks ago, he was their shining light, and I was very surprised when he was subbed off in the second half of that game when they were chasing the game essentially. But I think he's definitely worthy of this award. Let's get on now to the next player. Charlie Hughes, another centre half on this list, and again, it's hard looking at centre halves on this list when I know that Cashin isn't on it. Now, he might not be on it because he might have gone over the age threshold, but I thought it was 23 and Cashin is only 22. Now, Charlie Hughes has been excellent for Wigan this season. Obviously, coming into this season off the back of points deductions and whatnot, which left them out of the Championship. They got a points deduction to start off this year. I think he's been an excellent player for Wigan Athletic this season. You can see where he ranks against other centre-backs on the right-hand side in that graph. But he's played 38 matches, started 38 of 39 matches, collecting 4 goal contributions with 3,342 minutes played and a 7.15 average rating. 8 yellow cards and 1 red card. I think he's been excellent this year. And he came through at Wigan during a very, very turbulent time. And he's really, really made that position his own. I do think he's probably... Do you know, all 3 of these players could get this award for young player. I don't really think there is a shining light between them. Obviously, all 3 players are deserving of the award, but which one do I think it's going to go to? For me, I think Charlie Hughes has the best story. Overcoming a points deduction and keeping Wigan around the mid-table, and without the points deduction would have probably been pushing for playoffs. I'm not 100% sure where they sit with points, etc. But without the points deductions, they'd probably have been in that playoff fight much earlier on in the season, which would have obviously impacted the way they went about the season, the way things were handled. So I think Charlie Hughes has a really good shot at this award. I think Dembele has been excellent for Blackpool. Obviously, could he have contributed more at times? Maybe. Could he have picked up more important goals? Maybe. But is that all his own fault? Absolutely not. I do think the attackers normally get better looked at when it comes to these awards, because obviously, oh my God, he's got 18 goal contributions, but no one takes into account clean sheets, defensive actions when it comes to these awards, when you're just thinking about it from a fan's perspective. Ronnie Edwards and Charlie Hughes have both been instrumental to their sides, but so has Karamako Dembele. For me, this is the hardest one to judge. Who do you think is going to get it down in the comments? Who do you think is going to get each award? Let me know down there in the comment section. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button and like this video. We're trying to hit 350 subscribers by the end of April, and I know that you can help me do it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.